And we are live.
Coaches. Blow the whistle, ay. Blow the whistle, ay. Blow the whistle, they can't hold a flame against you, ay. Blow the whistle, blow the whistle, ay. Blow the whistle, got the game, it ain't no issue, yeah. Blowing the whistle, I had enough with you, the championship, it is gone. Ain't listen to you, I can't give it to you, cause you don't know what I've been on. This is the Coaches Podcast.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Coaches Podcast. Back with you live on a Monday afternoon here. Week 6 was a crazy week 6, that's for sure. We got a lot to talk about today, guys. We got some waivers talk. We have a lot of injuries updates we got to give you and some impact with those, and even a trade we're going to talk about today. So let me introduce the crew as always. Coach Jizz, what is going on, brother?
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Fly, Eagles, fly, yes. You should be really happy you did not taunt with me like 3 weeks ago, and I said, Miami's 3-0, let's go. It's been downhill since then for Miami, so clearly I messed up big time believing in my team, but it's okay. Coach Sean, what's going on, brother?
Nothing much. That's another beautiful day in Southwest Florida. So I get to hang out with the coaches. We get to dive into this waiver wire. Like you said, there's a ton of news. So this is it. Bye weeks are upon us. This is where you make or break your fantasy league right now.
Oh, yeah. This is the terrible time of year. Bye weeks having to deal with that. No, next week's going to suck because Buffalo, the Vikings are on bye. I actually didn't pull this up beforehand. Let me see.
Eagles.
Bye weeks. Eagles on bye?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Eagles on bye. Who else? Who's the third? Who's the fourth one? It's got to be 4. The Rams. So your Cooper Cubs, your Jalen Hurts, your Justin Jeffersons, your Bills offense, your Miles Sanders. It is going to be a crazy week 7. So unfortunately, waivers suck this week, but we'll get to that in just a second. So let's get into the news for the day, guys. All right. Oh, there it is. All right. So first off, Hollywood Brown, foot injury, expected to be season ending, but I got some more recent news about half an hour. Go ahead and have time to update my spreadsheet that it might not require surgery. So there might be a time frame for him to actually come back this year, but likely for your fantasy hopes, probably not in the next month and a half, I would say, at least. So without Hollywood Brown, the Cardinals went out there and traded for Robbie Anderson. He's now an Arizona Cardinal after he got thrown out of the Carolina Panther game this coming Sunday. All right, so guys, let's start with the Cardinal side of the ball here. How does Robbie Anderson going there impact his value, and does it hurt or help anyone on this Cardinals offense?
I mean, the Cardinals offense, he's going to be – Robbie Anderson is what he is at this point. He's a deep threat. He's, take the top off a defense kind of player. So I think – in a vacuum, I'm not super excited about Robbie Anderson on the Cardinals because they're not throwing the ball deep right now. They're just not taking those chances. So I think the Cardinals' impact is pretty minor. There's not really much that, I'm not diving out to go grab Robbie Anderson because you got Hopkins coming back next week. Rondell Moore is kind of emerging a little bit. So I think Robbie Anderson is a nice football piece and he'll help your offense, but I'm not holding out hope for fantasy.
Gibbs.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think it was smart for him. I agree with John. It's definitely nothing really good for fantasy. I'm not thinking he's going to be a consistent piece, but maybe as the season progresses, he could, find, some splash streaks, but you're not going to be able to predict it. So, it's definitely going to be Hopkins. They probably just went in and got him because they can't have Rondell Moore and Greg Dortch both playing, outside positions. So they get themselves a wide receiver, and they're going to let it rip over the top. Give Hopkins some space.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see. We'll definitely be talking about Robbie Anderson a little bit, but I think he kind of fits to somewhat what Hollywood Brown can do and what he was doing in this offense. We known him as a deep threat and Anderson, but last year he was someone who caught the ball closer to the line of scrimmage and did things with his feet. So something what Hollywood Brown did over the last few years. He kind of became not as much of a deep threat, but he can still. So he kind of fits that role. Will he have value? We were downgrading Hollywood Brown in the next week or two with Hopkins coming back. So we'll have to wait to see if this offense still can produce multiple wide receivers, if it can or not. But we'll see what happens there. What about on the Panther side of the ball? Does anyone take a big increase in impact because no more Robbie Anderson? I mean, what was Robbie Anderson target share before he left? Let's see if I can pull that up real quick here. Let's see. Robbie Anderson had a 15% target share, 27 targets on the season. So, about almost 4 or 5 targets a game.
I mean, if you want to go Terrace Marshall and speculative ad, see what happens. I mean, maybe, but I'm not. Again, the Panthers offense, I think they're going to sell off pieces. Baker's hurt and looked like crap anyway. So I'm not super excited. Like, if you're not excited to start DJ Moore, you're certainly not going to be excited to start or even roster secondary pieces on this offense. So, I think it's, if anything, you might get a bump to Christian McCaffrey. His target share might see an extra couple targets a week, which would be great. But I don't think there's any wide receiver on roster that's going to like emerge into this must start piece.
No, I guess for like deeper leagues, maybe Shy Smith. Like he's probably like the most targeted guy I've seen so far. Like who shouldn't have been getting targets for DJ Moore. But other than that, you definitely can't start him. Like PJ Walker is a problem. Jacob Easton or whatever the next guy went in, they went. No, no, sir. No, sir.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you.
No. Just let Christian McCaffrey rip it and just throw him 5-yard passes. You can't go wrong.
Please.
I mean, maybe DJ Moore will see at least 10 targets a game, double-digit targets every game now. Maybe that will help his value or something.
I'm praying for Sam Darnold.
Yeah, Sam Darnold needs to come back. It's just really hard to say right now.
What?
I can't believe that's what we're praying on.
Oh, God. Someone's got to be better than someone on here. But, yeah.
That's crazy.
There's no real impact. Again, like you guys both said, both guys like Terrence Marshall or, Shy Smith, maybe one of them can emerge as the two now on a bad offense. Again, bad offense. So we'll have to wait to see on there. Both those guys are probably better like dynasty 16-man league talks than compared to your 10 to 12-man leagues. That's for sure. So no one really, if you're looking to pick up in a 10 to 12-man league, you're looking on the Panthers at the most outside of Christian McCaffrey right now. So, and someone accepted that trade, guys. I didn't get to it in time for a second. I missed it. My phone died, so I didn't get that trade.
Oh, damn it.
I know he only for 1 second too.
Yeah.
I would have done it for 1 second. I'm so upset right now with life. But let's get back to the real news here, guys. I'm sorry. My fantasy talk is getting ahead of me. So this is big news. Obviously, that over the weekend we didn't hear about this. So I know we did. I think we were talking on Thursday about Cam Akers not playing on this Sunday, and now it seems that he's played his last down for the LA Rams. The Rams are looking to trade Cam Akers right now. Would you guys want to buy low on Cam Akers right now? Would you want to take that? Because I don't know if you're an owner, you want to maybe just get rid of him now, or I don't know.
I mean, how low are you going to buy? I mean, this is the thing. This is the problem with the Cam Akers is I don't know what he is expecting. You're coming off a major injury. The team kind of eased you back in and then started giving you a good workload. I don't know what scenario you're going to go to that's going to be better. Like if anything, he's going to get traded. Whatever team trades for him isn't going to make him this workhorse 3-down feature back. He's just going to be another piece to a complementary piece to an offense. So, the fact that Cam Akers is pissed at the LA Rams is like, I don't get it. Like, I don't know what he was expecting to be different. Like, he wasn't looking good. He wasn't playing well. So you request a trade out of town. A team might give up what's he worth in the NFL now? A fifth? Like, he's not worth a lot. Like, he's not worth a lot to a team. So, maybe if you're in Dynasty and you want to throw a third out there and see if you can, and someone's really tired of him and wants to get rid of him, because I don't know when he's going to play again. And I don't know, wherever he goes, he's not going to be the Cam Akers of old. I think those days are gone. We need to kind of really temper and change our mindset of what Cam Akers is at this point.
Yeah, like there's not that many destinations that like are like pretty like blatant in my eye. Like they can trade him to the Cardinals right now, but that's a divisional rival. I feel similar to the not the Seahawks, but like just like situations like that or interconference. So I'm really like off Cam Akers. Like I have no shares of him. I didn't want anything to do with them. I actually ended up trading Darrell Henderson over the weekend just to get another wide receiver. So like just make things happen, get off that bye week, but definitely it's a situation to watch in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, I think if you don't have Akers, if you want to attempt to grab him on the low, go for it personally. I mean, he didn't look great, but again, the Rams' offensive line is really, really bad. And then it got worse now. So trade Darrell Henderson while you can now. If you can, guys, just go trade Darrell Henderson right now. But I mean, if he ends up in a better situation, maybe there's potential still. And if you have him, I don't think you want to sell him off for nothing because you probably draft him in the 4th or 5th round, more likely if your drafts this year. So you might want to you're just kind of end up holding him and just hope for the best and see what happens. Like you held him for this long for 6 weeks now. You might as well see if he gets into new teams and it helps you out. So it's kind of the way I see it. So it's a tough situation with Cam Akers. Hopefully we find out sooner than later because obviously holding a player that's in limbo right now is definitely a headache for sure. So
He's probably going to go to the Panthers.
I said DMC for Cam Akers, but
I know you said that on Twitter. That would have been crazy. Listen, I just think Cam Akers is, his days of being a top 15 back are probably over. I just don't think it's there anymore. So whatever that means, so I wouldn't give up even a second. If I'm in Dynasty, I'm not giving up even a second round for him. So maybe a third if you want to take the chance, like you give up a 3rd round pick. But, if I'm the Akers manager at that point, I'd probably just hang on and see what happens for a third. I'm not going to, it's just you're in a weird limbo state right now with Cam Akers. You can't move him. You're not really going to get much for him. So I think you have to just kind of sit and wait, which sucks. And then redraft, I don't know, because he might not get traded for 2 weeks and then he gets into an offense, needs to get acclimated to the new offense. So it's really 3 weeks until you really get to play him again. And then what do you have? It's like, that's tough. That's a tough situation.
It's a bad situation.
Yeah. You're just singing a prayer that he goes to like a great offensive line.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, somewhere awesome. But the problem is the players that have good offensive lines right now, the teams that have good offensive lines right now, the run game tends to be pretty solid. So why would you change it up? Like you're not going to bring in a guy who come off an Achilles injury if you're running at 4 yards a clip, 5 yards a clip as it is, like you're not going to bring in someone who's kind of banged up.
Sure. Well, we will wait and see on that. So hopefully we find out by the time we podcast again. It'd be great if it happened during the podcast. That'd be cool.
That would be fun. Live news drop.
Yeah, definitely. I love a good news drop right in the middle of a podcast episode. All right. So sticking with this injury or in fantasy news updates here, Carson Wentz fractured finger, likely out 4 to 6 weeks now. More than likely, the Commanders are going to turn to Tyler Heineke. I'd love them to turn to Sam Howell, but are you guys just off this offense now? Or maybe Sam Heineke can get things going again. He had some success last year at times when he was healthy.
Yeah, I mean,
it's worse, right?
No, if it's Tyler Heineke, it's not that big of a difference. I mean, I think Carson Wentz is a better quarterback than Tyler Heineke, but not substantially better. So, but if they go with Howell, which I think they should do, if you're a smart franchise, you know what you have in Tyler Heineke, so you might as well see what's happening with the rookie. If they do that, then I'm probably off this because then you got a rookie quarterback coming in mid-season where things could get tough quick. But Tyler Heineke's enough to keep, your Brian Robinson hopes afloat. I mean, it wasn't like you were getting superstar performances out of these players as it was, but that offense can move enough that, you still have flex options with Jahan Dotson and Brian Robinson and things like that.
I don't know. I disagree. I think like you could just downgrade like Terry McLaurin to a wide receiver 3. I'm kind of maybe concerned like maybe that's the Washington Commanders MO what we saw last Thursday to run the ball. Now they got Brian Robinson. They could do the same thing with Gibson. They could probably just go with that approach and be safer,
Mm-hmm.
So like I think the running backs are still in play. Terry McLaurin a little downgrade, but I'm definitely concerned about starting Samuel and Doxson when he gets back because they had good connections with Wentz. So I got to see it to believe it first.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see. I don't think they officially named Tyler Heineke a starter for Week 7 or anything yet. So we'll hopefully by Thursday we'll know more. But yeah, I mean, it depends on what happens here. I mean, it depends on what this offense wants to change to. We obviously saw more of a run-first approach on this past Thursday. I mean, it's tough to call early on, but you couldn't trust this Commanders offense before. You shouldn't trust them now. So it's just the way it is. And if you have them on your team, you're riding your bench until someone can show some kind of consistency, unless they're like somebody who's on a borderline of your end of your bench and you can cut them for someone else that you might help. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in terms of the rest of injuries, Kendrick Bourne, toe injury, Randall Cobb, ankle injury, Deion Jackson, who had put up a monster game this week, caught a quad injury. J.K. Dobbins dealing with his knee, not a great sign. Don't want to see that. Kenny Pickett, concussion. It already believe it was been named that Mitch Trubisky will be starting Week 7 against the Miami Dolphins on Sunday night. Cameron Brate, head and neck injury. He's okay. It was pretty scary. Apparently, the injury. He was carted off off the field and everything. It was pretty scary. And Adam Trotman's foot injury, he's already ruled out for Thursday night. So that is the rest of the fantasy news. Maybe we'll get some more during the show, guys. All right. So let's get to our first play of the day here. Give us a buy low player to buy right now. Player to buy right now.
Oh, crap.
Go for it. Jibs, you got your player?
I didn't even look at the doc, to be honest. But where to buy low on?
You guys doing great.
My buy.
I
I'm
would suggest.
go for it. I was gonna say
Go ahead. You go.
my buy low, and I don't know how low you're gonna pay, but it's Drake London. I think a couple bad performances, not bad, but like not superstar performances. But he's still getting a ridiculous target share. Anytime they throw the ball, they tend to look his way. I don't want to buy into the Atlanta offense too much, but when you're getting a 30% target share, it's like you're bound to have a decent floor. And then the talent of Drake London is high enough that he could break off any play for a big score. So I think you can probably get in there and kind of spin the narrative of the offense is crappy. They're not going to throw the ball a ton and all that. But realistically, if he's in getting targeted and they're in situations where they're losing a lot, I think he's a safe floor with the talent to break off big plays.
Okay. My player to buy low is going to be Brandon Cooks, a guy who's been wildly inconsistent this year, but I guess he has like tough matchups. He played the Colts, Broncos, Chargers. Davis Mills hasn't been playing like lights out, but like after the bye week, you don't have to worry about that anymore. He has Tennessee, second most fantasy points, Washington, Miami in the upcoming schedule, fantasy playoffs. He has Kansas City and Tennessee again in weeks 15 and 16. I think it's a player that's going to be good. I think he's definitely kind of been sour in the beginning of the season, but I think he could probably regress up and be a more proficient wide receiver too. And like, who wouldn't want a guy with a 28% target share on the team?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely cannot beat that. For me, guys, I'm still, if you got to do it now, but Travis Etienne is definitely someone I'm looking to buy on the low still. He has yet to really kind of break through. He's still going to be splitting time probably with James Robinson. I don't think that really goes away, but I think his overall efficiency and usage does take a tick up somehow in this offense here. I'm waiting for the targets to kind of go up more, just average around 3 targets a game, but he's running better now. And remember, he's a rookie still. He didn't play last year. He's technically a rookie, and we all love the rookies. So why not love Travis Etienne? He's getting more involved in the offense here. He's seeing more snaps each and every single week. And his matchups down the stretch is so good. I mean, he's got to play the Raiders, the Chiefs, Baltimore, Detroit, the Jets, Houston. Jets are a little bit better now, but, Dallas, Tennessee a couple times. He's got good matchups down the stretch here. So if you're looking to buy an RB, it's definitely now for sure. So
every time Etienne touched the ball, I feel like he was going for positive yardage. He looked good. He is that like jittery, elusive like back that we all wanted to see. And so I think it's just like you said, we all forget that he is basically a rookie this year, and it took a few games for the Jaguars to figure it out, and now Etienne to figure it out. So it's just a matter of time before he has a 100-yard multi-touchdown game, and it's going to be impossible to trade for him.
No, for sure.
Definitely. All right. Okay. We have a question in the chat here, guys. Just got offered Miles Sanders for Najee Harris. Should I take it?
I mean, I probably wouldn't. I would stay in the flames with Miles Sanders. One of the better offenses, better offensive lines. He's getting work. I would keep rolling with Miles Sanders.
So you would take the offer?
Yeah, take the offer.
I just got offered Miles Sanders for Najee. Oh yeah, then yes. Sorry, I would take that offer. Then I would take Miles Sanders for Najee right now.
I would. I think he'll be more consistent play throughout the year. It kind of just sucked that he's on a bye week, but hey, we're gonna give you some people to look at and some start and sits on Thursday. So stay tuned.
Right. Absolutely. And even with Najee Harris having, a decent week this week, it wasn't really that great. He had a nice wide open touchdown in the reception game. And he was still 3 yards per carry, just 3 targets on the day. I mean, this is your sell window for, Najee Harris right now. Just sell him off and get Miles Sanders.
He saved his day with that touchdown.
Yeah.
He would have had another horrible day.
Like, it's definitely a good time to get off Najee if you can. Miles Sanders has looked good, and he played well in a tough defense matchup last night, and he did very well. So I'd be trading Sanders. He gets a nice long rest now, and he should hopefully be good, hopefully the rest of the season. So I like it. All right, boys. So let's get into the top 5 waivers this week. Obviously, we're going to continue to do the trend we've been doing. Each one of us is going to get 5 overall waivers, whether it's top 5, whether it's 5 in each position or whatever it may be. John, you get to go first, brother. What do you got for us?
All right. So this is in no particular order because I couldn't really order them because I don't think this is a great waiver wire week. There's a few names that could pop up and have season long value, but a lot of it's going to be bye week rentals and see what you can get through. But first name I want to bring up is Kenyon Drake. You got to mention it because we don't know what's going to happen with J.K. Dobbins. The knee injury is there. It's real. I don't think Kenyon Drake is going to, dominate and take over this backfield. But if all of a sudden J.K. Dobbins does miss time, you get Cleveland next week, who is porous against the run. So you get Kenyon Drake would be a free start next week. Another one that I wanted to bring up was Tyquan Thornton. I think he had 2 touchdowns, looked good. The Patriots loved him all training camp. They were talking about him. Sucked he got injured, but he was getting a little bit of buzz, a little bit of hype around him. And then he comes in and scores 2 touchdowns in his first game back. So that's great to see. I think he is one that you can add and make. It might be, wait and see what happens next week, but he could be a season long ad that helps. Another one is Wan'Dale Robinson. If he's still out there, you can grab him. The Giants are deprived for pass catchers. The Giants need, they're 5-1. Can't believe it, but they're doing well. They look good. Wan'Dale got a touchdown, so I think they're going to use their playmakers any way they can. Another one, I can't believe I'm doing back-to-back Giants, but the other one is Daniel Bellinger. I think he is like Corey Davis from a couple weeks ago, where it's like, you got to finally pay attention, where it's like, all right, he keeps doing it. So I guess we got to, focus in. And Daniel Bellinger is a tight end 1 on the year right now as it stands. And so I think it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be these Kelsey-esque games, but if you're farting around with, tight ends in this crappy market, I think you can do worse than Daniel Bellinger. And then the last 2 I wanted to mention were Philip Lindsay, just in case Deion Jackson misses time, and there's talks that Jonathan Taylor might also miss next week. So this is just pay attention to your stats and your news and what's happening. But there is an outside chance Philip Lindsay gets some work next week. And then the last one is, if you can, if he's still out there, Donovan Peoples-Jones is another person who I think is seeing targets. He's getting, it's not beautiful, but it's there. He's seeing a nice floor of about 5-6 targets a game. And then you get Deshaun Watson coming back in a couple weeks, and things could just really not explode, but things could, the top could really emerge on this offense a little bit more.
All right. I love it. Love it here. All right. Just before we get to you, brother, we got some here. Kyle, so what's up, coaches? What's up, Kyle?
What's good, Kyle?
Let's see here. Panda has a question. I also have D-Hops in my main league. Do y'all think he's actually going to produce, especially with Robbie Anderson, or should I move him?
You hung on to him this long. I wouldn't move him. I'd wait to see what you got.
If you want to see what you could get for him, you could, flirt with some offers out there, ask some of your owners and see what they would give up for Hopkins. If you get something you like, then great. If not, you just hold on to Hopkins and hope he gives you, high touchdowns like he did at the beginning of 2021.
Yeah, I think he can produce at wide receiver 2 level numbers. It should be pretty solid. So I wouldn't be if you hung on to him through this whole suspension, I wouldn't shop him now.
Nah, you definitely got to keep him.
Okay. All right. Jibs, we'll go to yours, and we'll get to another question. So give us your top 5 waivers.
All right, I'll do it real quick. If you're looking for a quarterback this week, I think you should look at Jimmy G. I know he didn't have like another good performance, but 20.9 fantasy points will cut it for some guys on a bye week. But I'm liking his matchup this week against the Kansas City Chiefs. So like I don't think they're going to be able to run in this game either. We saw that with the Falcons, and Jimmy G had to throw and get some touchdowns. Kansas City has allowed every quarterback they face to get 2 touchdowns at least. So look at him. I do agree with John. Definitely like a Kenyon Drake. Long-term perspective, definitely looking to Gus Edwards. He's 10% owned in the ESPN and Yahoo League. So if you have IR spot, try to grab him up still. He should be soon to come back. I'll still look into Robbie Anderson. Like, don't start him this week by all means, but like, I just think like they're gonna use him for some reason. So he's 21% owned. I rather have him on my roster than let my opponent do. If you're looking long term again at wide receiver, Jameson Williams, Van Jefferson also. Van Jefferson should be coming back soon. We did get Allen Robinson sighting this week, but like they're desperate for a good wide receiver too, like a consistent one. Van Jefferson, who knows the offense, we've seen him be spectacular. I think you guys should be adding him. Evan Ingram. I know there's some tight ends on bye this week. Evan Ingram has been pretty good for 2 weeks. 11 catches, 109 yards, no touchdowns. I'll take that for PPR leagues as my tight end. He has his good old revenge game coming up this week against the New York Giants, and he has pretty good matchups after that. I know Denver's not so good, but like Las Vegas and Kansas City, fantastic matchups for tight ends. I think he'll end your streaming problems for a couple weeks. And then Hunter Henry, same with Evan Ingram. Like he's been on a tear too. He has 8 receptions, 115 yards and a touchdown. He has a tough matchup versus Chicago this week, but then he has the Jets and the Colts who also give good points to the tight end. So definitely look at those guys.
All right. Thank you for your top 6, Jibs. I love it.
I'm giving you extras, baby.
You give me extras. I love it. I love it. All right.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
All right.
$1 bill, y'all.
We got Sebo here with a question. Should I trade Jamar Chase, Breece Hall, Najee for Kupp and Dalvin Cook? I have CMC, Neiman Pearson, Travis Etienne. I have Mike Williams, Jalen Waddle, and Chris Olave.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that at all.
Nah. Trade Najee on the high. That's what I would do.
Yeah,
I definitely don't want to trade
Chase.
Breece Hall.
I mean, Chase is a top 5 dynasty wide receiver. Breece has just asserted himself into the top 5 conversation. And, Kupp and Dalvin are diminishing I'm assuming this is dynasty because this is
this team would be wild in redraft. This would be too good.
Yeah, so I'm assuming this is some level of dynasty. And so I wouldn't. You're getting diminishing assets in Cook and Kupp. I mean, your team's CMC, Dameon Pierce, ETN, Breece Hall, Najee. I mean, your team is good. Like you're making a trade just for the sake of making a trade.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
I would keep your squad. It just sucks. Better days will come. I'm promising you. For Jamar. I mean, Jamar had a decent day.
He had a great day. Fantastic day. He had a good day. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do it. Keep your players, keep your youth. Maybe trade Najee if you want to trade Najee, but out of that, I mean, if you want to make a trade Najee for something and not Hall, and definitely not Breece Hall. Breece Hall is about to be a star, and I hate it.
Yeah, you can't. You can't trade
Chase is fantastic. So, all right,
I got Breece Hall in the 7th round of my league, one of my leagues.
Oh, love that. I'm mad I didn't get more of him.
Gravy train, baby.
I'm mad I didn't get more of him. So upsetting. All right, so let me give you guys my top 5 overall. Kenyon Drake's in mine. He played well without Dobbins in that second half. Maybe he's out this week. He put up 100 yards. Kenyon Drake started the season with the workload, and then kind of when Dobbs started coming back, they kind of went away from Kenyon Drake. And now that Justice Hill is also out, Gus Edwards could come back this week potentially, but I feel like it's going to be another week at least. So you might have at least a 1-week wonder with Drake, especially if you need a bye week replacement at running back. I would consider looking at Robbie Anderson, honestly. I mean, he's been good at times. He has probably the best quarterbacks he's ever had in his career, if you think about his career so far. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, PJ Walker. That's his quarterbacks over 4 years, 5 years, or whatever, as long as he's been in the league. So Kyler Murray will be an upgrade for sure, and we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe it's not good, but definitely worth a pickup. Daniel Bellinger, I've been talking about Daniel Bellinger for the last 3 weeks now. I've been telling you, go get him. He's literally their tight end 1 on the team, and he's been producing three out of the last 5 tight end 1 performances and at least 3 targets in each of the last 4 games. Rashard White kind of has fallen back down to earth after that week 3 performance against the Chiefs. But I'm still looking to get him because he has league-winning upside if something happens to Leonard Fournette. Maybe you're a contending team looking for a piece to grab on your bench. He's the kind of guy I want to go out there and grab right now. And Deontay Foreman. If Deontay Foreman's out there and you have a spot in your roster bench, I would definitely want to throw an ad at him right now and see what happens because we all know CMC trade rumors are out there and maybe it just doesn't happen. But what if it does? And what if they don't get an RB back in return? I don't think Chuba Hubbard is going to carry the workload. It's got to be Deontay Foreman. He can handle that kind of workload. We saw it already last year in Tennessee. I would give him an opportunity to go pick him up, and you might have yourself another mini league winner kind of a player. So that's the other guy I'm going after. So that is my top 5 overall, guys. Hopefully those are helpful. We will get to the positional rankings in just a second, but if you guys didn't do well in your fantasy leagues this week, and maybe you did good in your DFS, your over-under lineups, and if you didn't, you should definitely go check out No House Advantage. And we have a great article that we pop out every single week. Coach Hunter puts up an article for his over-unders, and it's been fantastic. I've been using it. I've helped me win a couple games here, and it's with No House Advantage. They're a sponsor of ours. They're changing the game by offering the most dynamic fantasy sport platform available today. You play in the Pick'em contest versus other people at a shot at winning $150,000 plus in cash. You download the app, you choose a contest, you choose some player props, you earn points for each correct pick, and climb the leaderboard for your shot at the big money every day. You can also test your skills against the house and win 20 times your entry if you hit on all your picks. I got so close once. I'm so mad I didn't get it. Bet up the 5 player props, over-unders, or individual player matchups across every major sport league, including NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, MMA, and NASCAR. And of course, they're all playing right now, so it's a perfect time to do so. Sign up with the promo code COACHES at nohouseadvantage.com or download the app at the app stores to get your first deposit match up to $25. Make sure you check out No House Advantage today. Experience daily fantasy sports redefined because it's not just how you play, but it's also where you play. And you don't want to miss out on this offer, guys. It's free $25 when you sign up and you deposit $25, you get $25. Go and do it, win some money, and let us know how you do. So that's at nohouseadvantage.com, promo code COACHES. All right, so let's get to the back half of our show today, guys. Positional waiver time here. I'm going to name off a bunch of more waivers, and we'll discuss if anyone sticks out to the rest of the crew here. So for quarterback, we already mentioned. Did we mention? I don't think we mentioned any of the guys. We didn't mention.
We didn't either.
I don't think
the only guy that I mentioned.
So for other quarterbacks, if you don't like Jimmy G, maybe you do. Marcus Mariota played very well this past week. He gets Cincinnati. Daniel Jones has been something. He does get the Jags, who the Jags have been not as good on defense as they were before. If maybe Tua is out there, if not, Teddy Bridgewater plays the Steelers. I know the Steelers kind of handed the Patriots, but the Bucks. But Tom Brady's a little old now. Mitch Trubisky against the Dolphins. Dolphins been up a lot of points. Ryan Tannehill, Davis Mills, and obviously Matt Ryan. Does anyone else stick out there to you guys that you want to talk more about?
I guess I wouldn't fall for Matt Ryan again. Maybe with Alec Pierce really stepping into a role, he can be better, but we've seen the floor come out of Matt Ryan pretty quick. And until, I wouldn't be comfortable starting him. Even in a 2 quarterback league, I think you could find something else, but
put up 30 fantasy points this week, man.
Come on. This week, that's what I'm saying. This week was a good week, but I'm not taking this week as like standard. Like, I just think he, playing Jacksonville, I don't know. I think he's still talented enough to do it, but I'm not like, oh, this is Matt Ryan figured it out. Like it's, things are hunky dory. I just think it's going to be tough. It's just, I'm not consistently starting Matt Ryan. Daniel Jones, I would consider, and Mariota too. Both I would consider as, good low end quarterback 2s that you can plug in and play in most 2 quarterback formats.
I would consider Matt Ryan. Tennessee is pretty good matchup for quarterbacks. So I think he could get 2 touchdowns. Running backs are kind of reeling. They're going to have to probably lean on the passing game.
All right. I like it. All right. So for some other running backs outside of the ones we've already mentioned, Deion Jackson, I know we talked about Philip Lindsay, but if Deion Jackson isn't as hurt as they say, I haven't seen a report on how severe that injury really is. And if Jonathan Taylor is out again, he was fantastic, especially in the passing game.
Yeah.
If Mike Boone does amazing tonight, he could end up being, he's still under that 40% own mark. Some other guys, I kind of briefly mentioned Gus Edwards. He could be coming off and playing this possible week. It's possible. A couple of Rams and Ronnie Rivers and Malcolm Brown. If you're in a deeper man league and you need some RB depth, I mean, Henderson could go down. He's had injury histories. Kerryon Williams as well was on the pump the first 4 weeks of the season, or he got hurt week 1, whatever it may be. He should be coming off shortly. I meant that Deontay Foreman, Chuba Hubbard is a potential there, and some other like back end key guys like Kenny Gainwell. Cape Huntley maybe should be talked a little bit more. He did lead the team in carries, but again, they were ahead, so maybe not. Joshua Kelly, if he can put up another good performance tonight against a tough defense. DJ Dallas, Isaiah Pacheco, James Cook, maybe they get him more involved after the Bills bye. And obviously Jalen Warren is always a guy that you could just throw on your bench and just hope on to for some reason. Any of this sticks out to you guys?
James Cook, I think because we got a healthy scratch out of Zach Moss this week. So, they're starting to, after the bye, coming out of the bye, we could see the rookie get more work. And so I would certainly, if James Cook is out there in your league, certainly add him even through the bye week. I'd hang on to him. And then the other ones, it's funny. I don't know. And this is a question I'll ask you guys because this is a personal question because I'm making waivers in a couple leagues too. Would you carry any of these backup Rams running backs through their bye week? And just to, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you really rostering Kyron Williams through the bye week? Like in my mind, it's like, if you don't have Darrell Henderson, I'm not going to wait and see with these other guys through a bye week. Like, I'm just going to, it's too long for me to care. So that's the only other question I have. Would you do it? Would you hang on to one of those guys through a bye week where roster spots are super, premium right now?
Probably not, unless I was in like a 16-man league and I had enough bench space. So obviously Dynasty, you're going to pick them up because it's Dynasty.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that same boat. If for some reason Darrell Henderson's out there, I would not. But if he is, like, that's the only one I would carry through the bye week.
Probably. Jibs, anyone now you want to mention?
Nah, like the back tier is basically you're consisting of like your backup backs, but I definitely agree with Cook. I'll definitely highlight Josh Kelly. Like, he got like a slight role. It's not big, it's not small, but like it's a definite role. I definitely think he's I think he's proven the situation that he's like the RB2 for that team. But I honestly thought Ronnie Rivers was like a coach in an article when I was reading it. I'm baffled now.
I saw that name on like the trending on
Ronnie Rivers
on Sleeper for like players that are trending, and I'm like, there's no way this is really. I thought it was like a make believe name. I had to look it up. I'm like, oh, that's a real guy. He got carries, he got touches, so
he did.
He's a real player. It was really funny. I just saw the name with no icon. I'm like, no way, this is real.
It was like some college stuff. But also Jalen Warren. I know the Steelers were kind of basically in the moment and kind of leading the game, so they kind of were able to get Najee like whatever he could do. And there's
you good, Jibs? Oh, Jibs froze. He's in freeze mode. Oh, there he is.
I froze.
You're good.
Yeah, forget about me.
Okay. So I said Joshua Kelly is a solid option. He obviously seems to be the number 2 over, Sonny Michel now. At least that's a great thing. Again, none of these RBs are worth picking up. So if you're looking to spend big fab, this is not the week to spend big fab on RBs.
Yeah.
Let someone else do it. Wait for another week to come about. This is not the week to sell big money on RBs. So, all right, let's go to the wide receivers here next. Some wide receivers I have named off here. Just some guys that are over the 40%. I just want to mention Chase Claypool, Rondale Moore. Those guys might be, worth picking back up. Maybe. I mean, Chase Claypool just dominated this past game here. I don't know if that's going to be consistent or not, but it may be worth a pickup with Mitch, maybe back at quarterback from 1 week. Maybe Rondale Moore really does take that number 2 role over now with Hollywood Brown sidelined for a long period of time. Some other targets, the Colts guys, Alec Pierce had a pretty decent game. Paris Campbell came out and had a really good game. Surprised by that. You guys already mentioned Wanda Robinson, Robbie Anderson, Trayvon Thornton. Again, he's in his bye week, but Ben Shororik. I can't say his name. I can't say his name. Van Jefferson is coming back, but he's been playing well. He's been playing pretty well, honestly. He hasn't been terrible. He's put almost 10 fantasy points a game over the last few weeks here now. Maybe he gets more involved out of the bye. Terrence Marshall, Shai Smith, Nico Collins. I'd love to see if they get Nico Collins more work coming out of their bye. Houston. Josh Reynolds is a guy to keep your eye on, especially if Amon St. Brown is still not ready. Jameson Williams and Sky Moore still, maybe eventually he gets around to it. Maybe not. Who knows? But anyone you guys want to mention there, or is it kind of you guys mentioned the big ones already?
Yeah, I think, they're all this. It's funny. This week for waivers is just like ho hum. Like they're all fine. If any of those players were on my roster, I'd be okay with it. But I'm not like running to the waiver wire because I need this player. The only ones that I think could be, Rondell Moore, if he's out there, I would put a decent amount of fab in on him. Wandell Robinson and Tyquan Thornton, because I think there is season-long value to be had with both of those players. But other than that, I think it's just a tough sledding.
Right.
Yeah, it really is. I'll definitely be in on the Rondell Moore train. I'm not really in on Claypool. It's just like the quarterbacks keep changing. Like I've seen like Deontay Johnson have the best weeks of his fantasy season with Mitch Trubisky at quarterback, and then Pickens was good with Pickett. It's a soap opera. So I don't think like he's gonna make like he probably get him for cheap. Don't put nothing like big on him, but like if you could do so, like I think it's just gonna be a headache for your roster. Definitely in on Wandell Robinson. Like I think his role could probably get progressive as the season goes on. And damn, I'm surprised Nico's at 15%. Definitely get him on your roster. And like you said, Steve, I'll definitely get back on Josh Reynolds as like a speculative ad to see like how things go. But like he's got 4 straight weeks with double-digit PPR fantasy points, so like kind of consistent.
Love that. All right. And finally, guys, the tight ends. Again, all these guys are under 40%. Mike Gesicki, Robert Tonyan had a really big week. Hunter Henry, Evan Ingram, Noah Fant is starting to catch his momentum in Seattle. We'll see how that goes. Again, other guys, Daniel Bellinger, Jake Ferguson. If Dalton Schultz can't play, he had 40 yards and a touchdown this week. And Greg Dulcich from the Denver Broncos. He got activated tonight. We'll see if he plays, how much he plays against the Chargers. But he was a very athletic pass-catching tight end. They could really use that in Denver right now because they apparently don't want to use anyone else at all right now. So we'll see what happens there. Anyone stick out to you guys here?
I mentioned Daniel Bellinger, so he's one obviously I'd be in on. And then Evan Ingram, I think, Jibs said it. He's been consistent, and sometimes that's all you need at the tight end space is just a solid 8 to 10 points, and then you hope they get in the end zone. But that's kind of what you're getting out of Evan Ingram right now. So I'd be in on either one of those guys.
I'm going with my guys, and Daniel Bellinger. That's like a deeper leg.
I love it. All right, guys. So that is our waiver wire show today. Hopefully you found some guys to help you out. Again, if you're looking for real needs at a lot of these positions, it's really not a big week for it. So don't overspend your fab this week. This is not the week you want to go nuts. Probably any of these guys, I probably wouldn't spend more than 10% on. Not a single one of these guys. I would even wait until afterwards and just pick your hurt a little afterwards, depending on your league. If there's someone out there that shouldn't be out there, go spend your money then, obviously. But if it's any of these guys, which in most 10 to 12 man leagues, this is exactly what you're seeing out there most times than not, depending on how big your bench is. So, we got a comment here. If I can pull it up. Kyle, of course. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate it, brother. So that is actually going to wrap our show tonight, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Please come back on Thursday for our start and sit show for week 7. Coach John, anything you want to mention before we get out?
I said it last week. I'll say it again. Now is the time to make trades. Be active. It's the bye weeks. You can scoop some people up. You can make some roster moves. If there's nothing on waiver wire to really revamp your roster, make a couple trades. This is the time to do it. This is the time. Don't be satisfied in your team. If you're 5-0 or whatever, 5-1, don't be satiated. And if you're out of it, 1-5, then try and make some changes because you got nothing else to lose.
I was 1-5 in a league, and I went to the finals last year, so it's not impossible yet, guys.
I hear stories all the time. That happens.
It's not impossible.
It's not
Jibs was in
impossible.
that league. It's not impossible. It can
Yes,
happen.
yes.
So, Jibs, anything you
I've
want
done
to
0-5 before.
Huh?
I've
You're
done
0?
0-5.
and made a
Hasn't won.
championship? Let's go. So it's possible, guys. The coaches know how to win from being down big. So anything you want to mention, Jibs?
Let's go, Courtland Sutton. Need a big game, buddy. Need a big game.
Mediocre.
I want the Denver Broncos to show some form of life on offense. That it's just it's crazy.
That would be beautiful.
I need to see it. I need to see it.
Oh God. Well, that is going to wrap our show today, guys. As always, please go check out our website, www.thefantasycoaches.com. We got our rankings, articles, other podcasts, a couple other things on there. It's really cool to check out. My playbook's up there. It's pretty fun. As always, Kyle said he started 1-4 and won a championship. Love to hear that, Kyle.
Let's go.
It ain't over till it's over. I love
100%, Kyle.
Hell yeah.
100%.
And of course, if you guys want to see more of our content, just follow us on Twitter at Coaches Fantasy. Follow us on Facebook or like us on Facebook. Follow us over on YouTube and subscribe, and you'll get the notification when we go on live, guys. So thank you all for listening. Tune in until next time, guys. Thanks for listening, and have a good one.